Hey gamers, Minus10 here. In this video, we're going to review the NuPhy Air75 HE. Launched in December 2024, the Air75 HE is NuPhy's latest Hall effect entrant into its growing gaming keyboard lineup. Hall effect switches are taking over the first-person shooter gaming keyboard market for some pretty good reasons, and NuPhy has jumped onto this opportunity with 4 Hall effect keyboard launches over the last year. Clearly, NuPhy has its foot slammed on the accelerator. For the past week, I've been mostly gaming on the Air75 HE, and there is a lot of good in this low-profile HE option, but I'll also highlight a couple quibbles I have. Now, before we begin, I do want to note that I purchased the Air75 HE with my own money, and the opinions in this video are mine and mine alone. NuPhy's typical pattern is to launch a full-sized and low-profile version of all its keyboards. The Air75 HE is basically the low-profile version of its very excellent big brother, the Field 75 HE. I recently posted a review on the Field 75 HE, and you can watch that video here. In the box, gamers will get the keyboard, extra keycaps to replace the clear shine-through caps that come stock on the keyboard, a keycap and switch puller, and a USB Type-A to C cable. Pretty standard stuff. Coming out of the box, the Air75 has some heft for as sleek as the keyboard is. This low-profile chunkster tips the scale at about 704 grams or 1.55 pounds. And this weight helps keeps the Air75 HE grounded during those intense FPS fights. The top plate is made from an attractive brushed aluminum that feels nice to the touch and helps add that heft this board needs to stay grounded. On the left and right, NuPhy included 2 LED indicator lights for profile mode, caps lock, and the sleep mode. When the indicator lights are not active, they display a very subtle but nice ever-changing RGB show. It's the small design elements like this that separate NuPhy from other brands. The bottom case housing is made of see-through ABS plastic, but there isn't any halo lighting emanating from the bottom. This board, it's just too thin for any extra RGB. The Air75 HE has 2 feet height adjustments. The board doesn't list the degrees, but the largest foot keeps this board in a low profile mode. In regards to thickness, the Air75 HE is about 19 millimeters in the back and 13 millimeters in the front. You can game on this board without a wrist rest, but I still use a low profile one from Glorious. Typing on the keyboard over extended periods was comfortable and the switches sounded okay. It's a low profile board, so NuPhy focused on actuation accuracy with a couple layers of sound dampening. I mean, the reality is, gamers are not buying HE boards for the sound and pleasant feeling. It's all about the speed. Gamers will appreciate the quality and design that NuPhy put into the Air75 HE. If you find this video review helpful, I'd really appreciate a like on the video as well as any comments below. Your direct engagement with my content does help out my YouTube channel. Low profile keycaps, they're hit or miss, and NuPhy delivers a decently nice feeling PBT keycap with the slightest amount of graininess to keep the grease to a minimum. My only request for future keycaps is to add a bit more graininess to the keycaps. The magnetic Jade Pro switches, full stem, and dual rails really keeps these keycaps grounded onto the switches. It doesn't appear these keycaps are double shot, so it is yet to be determined if the font will last after months of gaming. As for the transparent keycaps that come stock on the Air75 HE, well, these keycaps just feel slimy smooth relative to the non-shine through keycaps. They do provide some dazzle, but I really wish NuPhy would steer away from these keycaps and just focus on its stock keycaps and migrate to a stronger north-facing LED RGB light. Hall effect gaming boards are really all about the switches, and the NuPhy Air75 HE comes with either the low-profile magnetic Jade or Jade Pro switches. Adding the Pros puts another $20 onto the price. The primary differences between the two is the Jade Pro switches are made entirely of palm material and have a higher initial force actuation point of 40 grams versus 30 for the stock magnetic Jades. I went with the Pros as I prefer a heavier switch. Both switches' actuation points can be set from 0.1 to 3.3 millimeters. Where you end up on actuation points is a personal preference, and tinkering with these levels is the fun part of magnetic keyboard switches. The RGB is south-facing, and the bleed from the side of the non-shine-through keycaps is good, but not overly blazing. Gamers need to realize that NuPhy doesn't provide the brightest RGB experience. One minor gripe is the slowest RGB change speed is still quite fast. In future firmware updates, I hope NuPhy can slow the RGB speed down a bit more. NuPhy's web app, NuPhyIO, is solid, and it's one of the most intuitive HE web apps on the market. I appreciate its efficient and easy to understand UX. When launching NuPhyIO, gamers can choose from one of three profiles: Gaming M1, Windows M2, and Mac M3. Now, of course, gamers can modify these three profiles to anything they want. Another small quibble is the physical mode switcher is located on the front part of the plate. In future versions, I wish NuPhy would just include this on the top, as physically switching the mode requires gamers to lift the keyboard. At the center of NuPhyIO is the ability to set the Air75 HE's actuation points, rapid and continuous rapid triggers. NuPhy has updated NuPhyIO with HyperTap, which is similar to Wooting's Rappy Snappy and Dynamic Keystroke. Both allow gamers to assign multiple actions to a single switch where the actuation is triggered by a certain amount of actuation and release. Now, I don't use these features, but for gamers who want the ultimate competitive advantage and have the reflexes, they can program the NuPhy Air75 HE to their heart's content. NuPhy is constantly keeping pace with the competition, and this is great for all of us gamers. Beyond the core features, gamers can also remap key bindings, record macros, change the RGB lighting, and adjust a few other options for each mode. As with its other HE keyboards, NuPhy provides multiple keyboard polling rates at 1, 2, 4, and 8K polling. As this is a wireboard, I just kept my Air75 HE absolutely hammered at 8K. But to be honest, I did try different polling rates and I couldn't really perceive any differences between the rates. I'm assuming there's a benefit. One note though, higher keyboard polling rates does have an impact on CPU usage, so if you don't have a modern CPU, you may want to keep the Air75 HE's polling rate to 1 or 2K. The Air75 HE is a solid all-around HE gaming keyboard, and it's easily one of the best low profiles in the market. But where this keyboard absolutely stands out is its price. At about $130 for the stock NuPhy Air75 HE and $150 with the Magnetic Jade Pro switches, NuPhy is pricing the Air75 HE super aggressively, and gamers will get a ton of flexibility and value. So, to wrap this up, NuPhy once again delivered. The Air75 HE is an excellent HE gaming keyboard option if low profile is your jam. The Air75 HE has a quality feel with some decent RGB and magnetic switches that give gamers plenty of actuation options. NuPhyIO keeps improving with time, and NuPhy has added features that better compete with the leader of the pack, Wooting. At about $130 for the stock version, this is where NuPhy challenges the competition. Pure value. The only quibbles I have are I wish the mode changer was on the top of the keyboard and that NuPhy would slow down the RGB speed just a bit more. There are very few low-profile HE gaming boards in the market, but if you're a gamer who wants that sleek, low-profile gaming experience, the NuPhy Air75 HE should be a serious contender on your shopping list. Stay tuned to this video for a NuPhy Air75 HE sound test. Thanks for watching.
you.